Hi guys, welcome to the second part of our SQL course for the beginners. Last time we learned some basics of select statements, some simple filters for the where part of the query, and today we are going to extend our toolbox with a couple of new toys. The first one will be distinct keyword, the second one will be count, and the next two will be sum and average. For those of you who are here for the first time, or maybe forgot how to use our SQL sandbox, I would like to tell you that we are going to do all the operations using our latest product, which is SQL Sandbox. You can find the link to that in the description. And when you enter that and log into the page, you should see what I currently have on my screen. And this is the SQL Sandbox. And we need to do two steps in order to be able to work with the dataset, which I am going to use in a couple of minutes. First of all, we need to scroll down to the section with the exercises sets. We need to pick the first one. We need to open it. And there is this button which is called Prepare Database. And when we click it and confirm the operation, after that, we have our database with the single table, customers, and 100 records in it ready to work. After that, we need to scroll up a little bit and click Open Database button. And right now we are inside SQL Editor, and shortly SQL Editor has workspace in here, so this is the place where we are going to type in all our SQL queries. On the left side we have a toolbox with tables. There is one table with 7 columns, so this is our customers table. And maybe as a short reminder of what we have been training last time, we are just going to type in a very basic select statement. So select asterisk to pick all the columns from the table from customers, which basically means give me all the columns and all the rows from the customers table. And when we execute that query, we should see all our customers selected below the workspace. I will increase the items per page so that we can see more of them. And we see that we have 100 customers inside, and each customer has a specific country associated with it. So there are people from USA, UK, Pakistan, Australia, Spain, etc., etc. So there are many of countries. And let's say that our goal is to pick the list of all the countries which we have our customers from. How to do it? We could start very simply and we could just pick the country column from the customers table, and maybe let's try to do it. So select country, and this is a column which we are going to pick with our select query from customers table. And when we execute that query, we see that we have 100 results with different countries inside. So basically that query has picked country from each row inside the table and has returned that as our result set. And we see that we have USA, UK, Pakistan, and when we scroll down a little bit, we notice that we are starting to get some duplicates. So we have UK here, we have UK here, we have USA. So basically that query has returned us the list of all the countries, but also with some duplications inside. What could we do to get rid of those duplications and let's say get a list where all the countries are picked only once, so that we have a better knowledge from where our customers are from and we do not have to scroll down through the long list and just pick those unique country names ourselves. There is a distinct keyword just for that purpose. And how we can use it? We just need to type in a very similar query. So select, but now before we type in the column name, we should type in this distinct keyword. So distinct. Now the column name, country, from customers. And when we execute that query, we will notice that we get countries as well, but right now there are only 31 results, which means that all the duplicates have been filtered out for us and we have a list of unique country names inside here. This is very useful, especially if we would have much larger data sets, not only 100 rows, because we could imagine that going through each row from 100 row table is not that difficult, but going through each row when there would be a couple of thousands of rows, it is much harder task. So that's why we have this distinct syntax available for us, just for purposes like that. Okay, what else can we do with distinct syntax? We can use it obviously for different columns as well. So for example, we could see what are the distinct first names of our customers. And let's at the beginning start to pick all the first names without the distinct, so that we have the overview of the situation and how our data set looks like. So select first name from customers. And when we execute that one, we will see that obviously we have a result with 100 rows, because that query basically pick every single row from the database, from the table, and extracted first name out of it. And we would notice duplicates if we would go carefully through the result records, but we can easily apply distinct to the first name. And we can, oh, I forgot to type in the name of the column. And we can execute it now. And we see that right now there are only 68 results, which means that 32 results have been filtered out because they were basically duplicates of the values which are already in here. Okay, what else can we do with distinct? Obviously, we can use all the filters and all the other syntax which we have learned previously. So for example, we could find all the distinct names of the countries, let's say. So select distinct country from customers where country like EU and percentage. And how does it work? It will return a list of all the countries from the customers table where country name starts with U, and after that it has any string. So let's see what kind of countries do we have which starts with U. And there are two countries like that, USA and UK. Okay, so let's say that the distinct keyword we have covered, and let's move on to the count keyword. And count keyword allows us to calculate how many results our query have. So when we are selecting customers from the table, like previously with this select asterisk from customers, we were returning all the rows from the customers table. And count operations allows us to count how many rows we have returned with a specific query. How can we use it? We just need to type in select, now count. So this is that new keyword. We open brackets and type in asterisk in here. Now from customers, and let's execute it. And we see that we have 100 customers. And that seems to be right, because as we remember, when we selected all the customers from the table previously, there were 100 records inside. So this is how we can use count. We can, of course, count different things. So for example, we could count how many, so select count customers, where let's say that we want to find how many people we have whose first name starts with a letter. So first name like, and now we open we open the string, and now we type in the first letter of the name and percentage sign. And when we execute that one, we will see that there are 11 people whose name starts with A. And we can easily prove that, because we can simply just copy the query we can get rid of the count. So we don't want to count the rows, we just want to see the rows. And when we execute it, we should see exactly 11 results, and that's true, of people whose first name starts with A. Okay, so this is basically how we can use count. We can count how many rows match a specified condition. That's basically what counts do. How can we combine those two operations, those two keywords? So how can we combine count and distinct? Because let's say we would like to calculate how many countries we have. So previously we were selecting distinct countries from the table just to see the list. So let's do it again. I have copied the select distinct country from customers where country like EU. So maybe let's get rid of this condition. Let's just select distinct countries from customers to get a list of countries. Let's execute it. And we see that we have 31 results. And if we would like to count them, we just need to combine those two count and distinct keywords. And how we can do it? Select, count, and now we open brackets. And here inside the brackets, we type in distinct country from customers. And we can execute it. And we see that there are 31 countries, 31 distinct countries. That's how it works. And obviously, as with every SQL query, we can connect these with some where conditions. So let's maybe try to count how many countries starts with U letter. So let's copy that query. Let's paste that in. And now we extend it with where country like, and we type in our pattern. And when we execute this guy, we should see that there are two countries. And we already know that this is true because previously we have selected those unique countries which starts with U. Okay, so we have discussed distinct, we have discussed count, and right now let's move on to the next keywords, which are average and sum. For that, maybe let's open a new editor. So we just mouse over this plus button in here and we click it and we get an empty space, a new workspace which we can use. And let's start again with select asterisk from customers to see our data set. And let's talk a little bit about those two new keywords. So average keyword allows us to calculate average value of some column. And as you probably can guess, this average can be used for numeric values. So we can try to use it against total orders column. And accordingly, some operations calculate sum of the column. So basically it adds up all those values together and return the result. So maybe let's start with some simple queries and let's try to see how many total orders have been made altogether by all our customers. So basically let's sum them up and we start like that. Select, sum, we open brackets and inside we need to type in the column name. So total orders from customers. We can execute it now. And we see that we have 179 total orders. So that's the number. And we could calculate the average. And this is very similar. So select average and now total orders from customers. And we will, when we will execute these, we will see that this is 4.79. And these values are very similar because basically average means that the sum of all the results has been divided by the number of results. And we know that the number of results is 100. So 479 divided by 100 gives us exactly that. We can Of course, use all the filters as usually for those operations, but maybe let's start with something different. Maybe let's try to return all those values, so both values in one result. How can we do it? We just need to select them both with the following query. So select sum of total orders, and now we type in comma to divide the next part of the results we want to obtain. And now average of total orders from customers. And when we execute this, we will see that right now the result sets contain two columns. The first one is sum of total orders, and the second one is average of total orders. However, their names are not very nice, and maybe we could do something about it. If, let's say that we are working on some report and we want to present it to someone, so not to display those values in such a technical way, we can assign them some better naming. And let's try to do it. It's very easy. We just need to, maybe I will copy the query. I will paste that in below. And then after each of these columns, so after sum of total orders and average of total orders, we just need to assign them some aliases. And we can do it with s keyword. And here we need to type in the name which we would like this column to have. So let's say that we will call it sum of total orders. And for the average, we will call it average of total orders. And when we execute that query, we see that we have the exact same results, and the only difference is that those two columns are named differently. And this can be very useful, especially for some presentation. So this is what we can do. Maybe let's try to do some filters so that we can see how we can combine all different SQL syntaxes together, and how then we can achieve different results. So let's start with maybe copying this part of the query. Let's go a little bit below, and maybe I will format it a little bit so that it's nicer to read. So I will type in a new line after each of the column. I will put the from below, okay, something like this. There is no problem, we can format that easily. And when we select this SQL and execute it, it works exactly the same as the one which is typing in a single line. This is just for our comfort of working with that query. And now we can type in the where, and we can add some conditions in here to see how we can calculate different values for different conditions. So maybe let's start with something simple, and let's start with an operation which will return us sum and average of total orders for customers who are from USA. So to do it, we just need to type in very simple filter. Country is equal to USA. And when we execute this part, we see that there are 13 orders from USA, and the average number of orders is 4.33. And what if we would extend this query and, for example, would try to see how many orders are from USA or from UK? Very easy. I have just added this or and additional condition. So basically it will return us all the records for which country is equal to USA or UK, and then from those records the sum and average will be calculated. And let's try to run it. And we see that right now sum of total orders is 32 and the average is a little bit higher. Okay, and basically we could use whatever condition we would like to, no matter what. We can use, for example, the filters which we have applied for names. So for example, I could find the sum and average of total orders for people whose first name starts with a letter. No problem with that. And we see that people who starts with A letter has a higher average of total orders than people who are from USA or UK. That's interesting. So the sum and average can be quite a useful set of tools for you to get some bigger picture information about your data set. I hope that you like this lesson. I hope that your toolbox is right now a little bit richer and that you can achieve more with SQL. I strongly encourage you to practice on your own, experiment with this data set, try to apply as many different filters as you can imagine, because the practice is the best way to learn anything. And see you on the next lesson. Bye bye, have a nice day. Hi guys, I forgot to mention one thing. If you would like to train a little bit all the stuff which we have learned today, but you don't have any ideas what kind of task you could come up with, you can always ask AI to generate some for you. It's very easy. You just need to expand the Smart Assistant view and ask him to prepare some exercises for you. So please prepare at least 10 exercises for count, average, and some operators. We just need to send it, wait a little bit, and we'll get fresh AI generated exercises. That's all for today. See you guys. Bye bye.